Greetings, everyone, and welcome to an introduction of the Hitpael, the last Binyan or verbal stem that we're going to learn. The basic meaning of the Hitpael is that it makes a verbal root reflexive. We can illustrate that with a couple roots, and a good one might be the root kof dalet shin for holiness. In the call, this will be a verb for something being set apart. So for instance, if we gave an expression like HaKohanim yikdeshu, that's a call, imperfect form. The priests shall be holy. They shall be set apart. They shall be consecrated. That's the call meaning. The PL meaning will have a transitive sense of consecrating something, making it holy, setting it apart. So to stick with HaKohanim, we could say HaKohanim yikadeshu et ha'am. The priests yikadeshu et ha'am, they sanctify the people. They consecrated the people. That is, they made the people set apart. And here you can see the telltale signs of the PL. Finally, for this new form, the Hitpael, this will be reflexive, to consecrate oneself. So to keep our example, HaKohanim yitkadshu. The priests yitkadshu. They will sanctify themselves. They will consecrate themselves. And you can see why it's called the Hitpael. The first two letters have this prefix, yit, in perfect forms, and as we'll see in a moment, hit in the suffix or perfect forms. You'll also see a certain similarity between the PL and the Hitpael. Namely, we're going to double the middle root letter, and we're often going to have a patak under the first root letter. We'll say more about the form momentarily. So if the basic meaning is that the verb is reflexive, if it's put in the Hitpael, of course by now you're used to knowing that every verb is different, and we won't simply be able to make everything reflexive and have it make sense. To give an example, one of the verbs that occurs fairly often in the Hitpael is the root halak, which of course just means to walk, and you're saying, how will I make that reflexive? I walk myself, like the dog walked itself? No, it won't mean that. It will mean something like just to walk or to walk back and forth. And so here's an example from Genesis 5:24. Vayit halek chenok et ha'elohim. And you can see there, we have halak. We have our little prefix that makes it Hitpael. And Enoch walked with God. It's not reflexive. The sense of the Hitpael here would be that if we wanted to simply say Enoch walked from one part of the country to another, then we would use halak in the call. If we want to say he walked continually over a period of years, this was characteristic, that will probably be the sense of the PL in this case. Let's take another example, one of our vocabulary words, palal. The root palal is almost always Hitpael. So it's best to just memorize that Hitpalel means to pray. And we're going to encounter it almost every time in the Hitpael form. It's not reflexive, it's not praying to oneself, it just means to pray. So let's look at this form. Let's look at the Hitpael suffix form. Hitpalalti. Hitpalalta, you prayed. Hitpalalt, you feminine prayed. Hitpalel, he prayed. Hitpalala, she prayed. Hitpalalnu, we prayed. Hitpalaltem, y'all prayed. Hitpalalten, y'all women prayed. And Hitpalalu, they prayed. Obviously, you can see that I've put in red the same suffixatives that we're familiar with for the suffix forms, the perfect forms. You will see that this is a pretty easy binyan to recognize with this telltale hit or yit put on the front. And that form doesn't change and it doesn't mess around very much, so it's going to be easy to spot. You'll notice one other thing, which is, as I was mentioning, the middle root letter. So we have pe lamed lamed. The middle root letter doubles. It gets the dagesh forte, just like the PL did. Okay, let's look at a couple of these and just give sentences so we can practice them. Hitpael, he prayed. Let's give a sentence with that. Hitpael Avraham el Ha'elohim. Abraham prayed to God. Nothing reflexive about it, just a past tense of palal. Let's take our same chart and give an example with the third person plural. Hitpalalu. Hitpalalu b'nei Yisrael. The b'nei Yisrael, the children of Israel, the Israelites, hitpalalu. They prayed. And finally, to take kind of a nifty passage from the Bible and a first person form in the suffix, Hannah says, "For this child I prayed," and the verbal form she uses is hitpalalti. I prayed, first person singular. Because this binyan is not all that common, I'm not going to go through all the other forms. You're not going to have a hard time recognizing it. And for the most part, you can either try a reflexive meaning, and if that doesn't give a good sense, check the dictionary. You probably are dealing with a verb that just occurs in the Hitpael, like palal. I do want to conclude with two kind of nifty words in the Hitpael that apply in modern Hebrew and that might help you memorize the word. One is that the Hitpael can be reciprocal, reflexive in the sense that it's two people doing something back and forth. And the normal way you say "see you later" in modern Hebrew is from ra'ah, to see, and you can see here lahit ra'ot is the Hitpael form. There's the verbal root, and that's just the way "see you later." Au revoir, lahit ra'ot, meaning we'll see each other later. I'll give one other example, just a nifty saying in the Hitpael, and that is al ta'am v al reach ein lehitvakeach. Concerning ta'am, taste, and concerning reach, which is smell. You can see that's related to the word ruach for wind, so reach means a smell, an aroma. Ein, there isn't, and I'm adding the word to be, there isn't any, lehit vakeach. This is from Yachak, and in the Hitpael it means there's just no arguing. So this is much like the Latin expression, de gustibus non est disputandum. There is no arguing about gustibus, about tastes. To each his own. Hope this was a helpful brief introduction to the Hitpael, and the best thing to do is we'll read a few sentences that have the Hitpael. You'll see it's pretty easy to spot, and really it's just a matter of learning some vocabulary words like palal, like nava, the word for prophesy, that quite often occur in the Hitpael.